Tonight, you are in for some serious fucking treats. So I need to know, motherfuckers, are you ready to fucking go down in history with us tonight in Dublin?
Yo, what's up people? I don't know what this video is going to be called, but I'm assuming you get the idea. It's the Slipknot live vlog, or whatever way I decide to edit it in the end, but it's probably going to be like a vlog slash commentary slash opinion on my first Slipknot or metal live concert ever. It's Amy and I's first time going. I'm going to be meeting up with her. Oh shit! Horse! Hello there, horsey! What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the title of the video today, it is the Slipknot live vlog day. Feels a little bit weird because this is like one that I've been kind of hyping up for a little while. Pretty much ever since the We Are Not Your Kind album came out, I reacted to the whole thing, and then like a few weeks later, Slipknot announced their European tour, and their first date on the tour is Dublin, which is where we are going today. It's the 14th of January. It's about 5 o'clock-ish at the moment. So the doors open at 6:30 and I live quite a bit away, so I'm pretty caught for time at the moment. It's Amy and I's first gig, like I've mentioned numerous times, so I'm a bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive, but also excited because I think it's going to be a good opportunity to meet some of you guys who watch my videos. The general social environment that I would be used to on like nights out, I wouldn't really get a chance to meet a lot of people that watch my videos. Maybe it's just an Irish thing where people can be a little bit timid to come up and say hi sometimes, because I'll get a lot of the time people will comment on my videos and say, I seen you here but I didn't want to come over, which is fair enough. I don't blame anyone. But I've seen comments on the latest Slipknot videos where people are saying, they're like asking me where me and Amy are going to be, and where we're going to be sitting, where we're going to be standing. So hopefully I do get to, I suppose, put some faces to the names that I see quite often on my videos. So yeah, I'm blabbering on, guys. I'm getting excited now because it's getting a little bit closer. We're losing daylight, so the video quality will probably get a little bit shitter. And yeah, I'm gonna go get changed, maybe get a drink or two, just to relax a little bit. And yeah, let's go. Found her. Amy, turn around. Back them. Oh really? Is that what it is?
Feels so good. You have no idea, goddammit. It feels good. It feels good to know that there is family here and there is family all over the fucking world. Do you understand what I'm saying to you about family out there? The beautiful thing about the music that we play and the genre that we fucking represent is this. It doesn't matter if you like our music. As long as you got our back, we're all together. Do you understand what I'm fucking saying to you on that? We would fight for you just like you would fucking fight for us, because no one understands like we fucking do. Do you understand that out there? Then I need to see every fist in the fucking air right now. Because
Alright guys, we are back. The last few clips you would have seen are they're just live shots. I didn't want to put too much in from my own footage because like you can just sit through that footage all day, you know. There's other videos on YouTube of the tracks being performed live, so I didn't want to extend the video any longer than it needed to be. Like if you really wanted to see certain tracks, then I'm sure there's a video that someone's uploaded of just the whole live video of that particular track. So yeah, we're gonna get into the review part of the vlog. We are about 1 week removed from the concert. It is now Sunday. We went on Tuesday. I haven't gotten around to actually doing anything. I just started to pretty much do the intro to the video, which I'm actually quite proud of. I think it looks pretty cool. And before I get anyone commenting that the intro clips that I used to kind of build the hype with Nero Forte playing over it were not from Dublin, I'm well aware of that. I stole them from the Solway Firth video before people are like, oh my god, this wasn't even in Dublin, like what are you doing, Drew? I know, I'm well aware of that, okay? Also shout out to the guys that I ripped the clips from. There was a kind of a drone shot that I took from YouTube as well. I'm sure I'll credit them in the description. Not that I think I actually have to, but I will, just so people don't come at me. I also used a live clip that someone recorded that I mixed into Nero Forte, which you'll all have seen anyway. But what we have to get to is the review. Obviously I'm by myself right now, so Amy's not here. You guys will know if you've been keeping up with the channel, it's hard enough to get me and Amy in the same spot, let alone do a video. So yeah, this is going to be my point of view, and then I'll also kind of briefly touch on what Amy felt, or the impression that I got from Amy of if she enjoyed it or not. It was my first ever metal concert, let alone, it was my first Slipknot concert, let alone a metal concert. So that was pretty cool in its own right. Cool that it was, you know, in one of the most prestigious venues in Ireland, the 3Arena in Dublin. Probably one of the better venues. I mean, I can't really imagine them playing anywhere else. I want to start on the positive, like I said. The energy was one of the main things that I was curious, not so much worried about. I didn't really care what kind of energy they brought as long as the show was good, but I was more so curious to see what kind of energy they would bring to the stage in the later part of their career. I think it's fair enough to say that. They're not a young band by any means at all. So I wanted to see what kind of energy they brought, and they absolutely killed it from that point of view. I mean, the energy that they brought, especially Corey Taylor, obviously he's been the front man, so you're paying a lot more attention to him, but even around them as well, there was just so much energy that was brought to the table, and it just made the whole experience just so engaging. Like, you really couldn't take your eyes off what was going on the stage because you didn't know what they were going to do next. So that was one of the main things that I was originally speaking to Amy about when we were reacting to the other live videos that we'd done a few days ago before we actually got to the concert. Was we were curious to see like what kind of energy they would bring, so that ticked that box. Other thing I wanted to mention was I didn't record much, to be honest. I had to rip a lot of clips from online, like you would have already seen, because I was recording a few bits, and then I was kind of like, why am I recording this? Like, it's my first ever metal gig. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a few people that want to get more clips from my point of view, but I really wanted to just take in the moment and didn't want to miss out on anything, you know, because it's easy. Like I've said, I can just watch all of these videos back anyway. I can do live reactions from other people's videos that have like been recorded from the gig and from different perspectives. I can do that no problem any day of the week, but you can only be there once. So I got the odd clip just because I knew people would want to see like the kind of perspective that I had of the show. So I got a few clips, Amy got a few clips as well, but I really wanted to just take it in, so that's kind of why we were left with very few clips anyway. So I think I'm pretty happy with how the video has turned out so far based on how little I actually recorded. Just a side note from the energy side of things, obviously they like with the live videos that we had reacted to previously, they set such a high standard, and I was obviously very impressed that they met that standard. And a lot of people, you guys had told me that they would meet that standard, but I was a little bit skeptical even though people had told me. And the kind of take home that I had from that was how, especially Corey Taylor, and I mean there was other members of the band who were actually singing with Corey Taylor as well, which was new to me, and I think a lot of other people, like I think it was Tortilla Man, I think is what people call him. He was doing a lot of the Nero Forte parts, the screaming parts, the kind of like ad-libs for Corey Lib's like kind of rappy part. He done a lot of that, which was kind of cool. He actually really done fucking very well. I seen a lot of the comments on the live videos, people were like, he absolutely smashed it, and I'd have to agree. Live I didn't notice it as much because I was just like, the whole spectacle was a bit much. But one of the things I did have in my head that I wanted to maybe get you guys engaged with was, how do, I mean, it's not specific to Slipknot, but bands that are heavily focused on like screams, how do they go on tour? Because I mean, obviously Corey Taylor's vocals would have been fresh because this was the first leg of the European tour that they're doing. But I mean, after like 10 or so nights, I know they don't always do it back-to-back nights, but even if they take like 1 or 2 days in between, he's doing like an hour and a half straight of like screaming. And I know obviously over the years they've trained their vocals, but it still seems like that would be a lot of strain on anyone's vocals, regardless of how experienced you are in that field. So that was one thing that I had to question. Do you guys like know if they have any specific like remedies for the throat after they do like live shows? Do they like try and avoid talking throughout the day? Because I'd imagine if you're talking all day and then going on and doing a show and then like talking the next day and then doing another show like 2 days later, like it's gonna pay a toll on your vocals. And like, has there ever been a point at which they couldn't perform because their vocals are fucked? I don't know, let me know. Another thing I noticed was a lot of the tracks were sped up, so it was a little bit hard to get used to the new tempo. I'll also go into the kind of the sound engineering of the venue as well. I'll get into that in a minute, because I wanted to speak on that as well. But specifically speaking about the intentional changes in the track, it was different. Like, I mean, a lot of the tracks I felt didn't need to be sped up, but I suppose if you want to do a lot of tracks on your set list, you probably have to get through them a little bit faster. And generally, like, because Slipknot's tracks are quite sluggy, a lot of them are very like you know, real sludgy kind of metal, like heavy hitting riffs. You can't afford to speed them up a little bit because, I mean, the tempo can be raised a little bit higher when there's a live crowd like killing each other in mosh pits to it. Another one of the key points that I think is really important is it kind of broke the stigma for me with a lot of metal concerts, because that was one of my main concerns. I didn't feel as though I would fit in. I felt like I would kind of be an outsider at the event. Now, that's not a knock on like any like previous metalheads or anything, and I suppose I would consider myself like a metalhead. I don't really like the term. I think it's a bit like cringe and cliche, but someone who, you know, listens to a lot of metal, because I mean, that's pretty much all I listen to nowadays. I mean, I still go back to like pop music, rap music as well, some dance music, techno, but the majority of the music I listen to on a day-to-day basis now is some form of like metal or progressive metal, whatever it may be, some subcategory of metal. So I was worried because I still am new to the genre. I was concerned. I'm pretty sure Amy was like shared the same sentiment that we would kind of be a little bit out of place and we'd be a bit awkward, which just was not the case at all. Not that anyone like specifically came up and like made us feel more comfortable. It was more just the atmosphere in the place was just like, it was just like a normal event. Like, can't really put it into words, but to give an example, I seen a video. If I can get it, I'll put it on screen right now. It was just like the whole family feel. There was like kids that we seen that were like really young with their parents. There was like families there. So I mean, the whole stigma, I think Slipknot, purely based on their aesthetic and obviously how they sound, they do get a bad stick with the general population. And I've experienced that with like even people that I know. If I say like, oh, I listen to Slipknot or I'm going to see them, it's kind of like, oh, what the fuck, like, why would you go see them? Or, oh, you're clearly a fucking goth, or you're like this weird person. But there was just so many normal people there, and I don't know why I'm surprised about that, because like, I mean, that is a weird assumption to just think that there would be no normal people there. But I mean, it was just kind of cool to see it. And yeah, I think Amy just really enjoyed the whole experience as well, and she noticed that there was just like families there as well. And I think she might have been a little bit lost in certain parts because there was tracks, and I was lost as well because I haven't heard their whole discography. So there was some big tracks that I wasn't able to sing along with. And that is kind of like a little segue into the negative parts of the experience. Now, there's only very few, and to be honest, none of the negative parts were actually anything to do with Slipknot as a band. It was more so a knock on the 3Arena as a venue. To be honest, I thought the sound engineering is woeful, and I've said this before from previous events, but this was the first time that I've ever actually been in the seated area in the 3Arena. So for anyone who isn't aware of how the 3Arena is laid out, you'll get an idea from like the video clips that I put in, but it's essentially like you have the stage at the front, then there's the, like most venues, there's the floor area, the standing area, that goes all the way around, and then the seats are all above on the second level, and they kind of oval around the whole stage and the floor. So we were up on the top right looking over the stage, and the speakers are on top of the stage and they kind of face inwards onto the floor. So from a sound engineering point of view, I had never experienced the sound from the seating area. I'd only ever been down on the ground, so you don't notice it as much, but I always did have that impression that if I was to be up there, it'd probably be a lot more quiet and like not as immersive. So I felt like the sound engineering did let the band down slightly. There was parts where it was just very hard. The audio was quite muffled. Now, because I knew a lot of the tracks, it was easier for me to just hear the drum, and I could kind of keep up with where they were going. But that's why I want to go back to, obviously they sped up a lot of their tracks as well, so that made it a little bit harder when you couldn't hear it properly, because the sound engineering just wasn't perfect. I'd say it was about 90% of where it should have been, which is enough to be annoying. Do you know what I mean? Another thing that was, I suppose, a negative that again has nothing to do with Slipknot is the seating area. You are not allowed to stand up. Now I understand it is a seating area, but I had this idea that it would just be like people standing in their section of the seating area, because obviously you're sitting beside a lot of random people, but there was like parts that Amy and I were kind of expecting people to all jump up, because we kind of wanted to get up, and because everyone down in the mosh pits and everything looked like they're having so much fun, and we just weren't able to. Like, we didn't really want to be the first ones to jump up, and no one was doing it, and we were like, there's no way that like just there's no one in this place that wants to jump up. And then a few people done it behind us, and straight away this is when we realized that you're not actually allowed to do it in this venue. A security guard comes up from the front out of nowhere, gets a torch out, and he like shines it at the people and like tells them to get down. So then we realized that that's obviously you're not allowed to do that, which was like a little bit strange. I mean, I suppose you can understand it from that perspective if there is people who maybe have like any disabilities, or who are a little bit older and their legs aren't, you know, what they used to be. You can understand that maybe if they've paid for seating tickets because they still want to go to the event, they just can't stand. If they're at the back and everyone in front of them is standing up, then they've just paid money to not be able to do anything. So I can understand it, but I think for like a metal gig, it just needs to be like we're sitting down for the whole thing. So the one thing that I would do when I'm going to another metal concert, I wouldn't say if, because I know I probably will at some stage. I don't know who it will be, but I would be very keen on getting standing tickets. Obviously I don't mind for this one because it was our first experience, and it was nice to get like just taking the event as a whole as opposed to really jumping into the mosh pits and everything, because I probably would have freaked out a little bit. But for the first one anyway, I think it was a good learning curve to be like, right, I'll never go in the seating section again unless I'm with like someone maybe a little bit older who's interested in the band and they're not really into doing that, and we're just going for the spectacle. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the main points I hit. Behemoth, they warmed up for Slipknot, and Amy and I, like I said in the kind of little vlog clip that I did in my kitchen at the start, we were a bit late, so we did actually miss Behemoth. When we came in, we were trying to figure out if they had played, and we just figured out that they're taking the stage down. So I mean, a little bit, I don't know their music, so I can't say if I'm disappointed or not, but a lot of people had told me that you really need to see them live, so maybe like I'll go react to some of their music and then really be pissed off because they might be one of my favourite bands, and then realise that I could have actually seen them live. But look, it's a learning curve, and we'll get there a little bit earlier. We'll buy standing tickets next time. And other than that, man, it was fucking a really good experience. I think Amy enjoyed herself as well. It was cool to just do something with her, something completely different, completely out of our comfort zone. I got to meet one or two guys as well. To be honest, because we were kind of rushed in and we rushed out and we were in the seating area, and I didn't put anything out as to where we were sitting, I didn't really get like I met someone in a pub beforehand. I needed to go to the toilet before we actually went in. I didn't catch his name, or maybe I did, I just can't remember. So if you're watching this, do let me know in the comments. It was in one of the pubs near the 3Arena. One of the guys came up to me, just said hello. I was dying to go to the toilet, so I had to run in anyway, so I didn't get a chance to kind of hang around with him. And then actually after the gig as well, I got to meet another guy from Northern Ireland. There was just a lot of people from Northern Ireland there, so shout out to whatever his name was. I can't remember either, I'm terrible with names. But let me know if you're watching this video, let me know in the comment section. I'm a bit annoyed that I didn't get to meet a few more people, because I'm sure there was a lot more there, because I've seen a lot of comments come in asking like like where was I? So yeah, maybe next time Slipknot do come to Ireland, I'll get a chance to meet you guys a little bit more. But yeah guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up. It's going to be a long one to edit, but I hope you did enjoy. Please do drop a like if you did. Sub to the channel if you are new. Let me know if you want to see me react to any Behemoth, because I think that's going to be a good segue into getting into their music, because I didn't actually get to see them live. But yeah, I'm signing out guys. Take it easy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.